Well, let's keep it with earnings, and it's been a weak first quarter for Fortis Healthcare. Profits have come in at low 26 crores, while the company has formally approved the demerger of their diagnostics business. To discuss the details of the quarter gone by, joining me is Bhavdeep Singh. He's CEO at Fortis Healthcare. Good morning, Mr. Singh. It's good to have you on the show. Let's start off with the highlights of the quarter. The profits have been a little under pressure, down 74% at 25 crores versus a higher expectation of it on the street. How have margins have been stable and strong? Take us through it.
I'm very encouraged by the quarter. It's been a good, solid quarter for us. We compare ourselves to how we did the same quarter last year, compare our performance to the trailing quarter, which is Q4 last year. And I think generally speaking, both our businesses, the hospital business and the pathology business, have done well. Just to break it down very quickly, the hospital business had a top line growth approaching 10%, at about 9.5%, which is good, solid growth, and we certainly feel good about that. That's a strong number. In terms of the pathology business, the SRL business, and the diagnostics business, we had growth slightly shy of 8%, and the SRL business has done, quarter on quarter has continued to grow, and this quarter was no different. I think when you look at the bottom line, the SRL margin held and slightly flat to last year. The Fortis margin grew quite substantially in double digits as well. So I think that both businesses have done well. We're very excited about what's happening at Fortis. Generally speaking, we think that as we look forward, you can expect good, solid double-digit growth on the revenue line. There's lots of reason to feel optimistic about that. I think that we're doing a good job in engaging our doctors, working with our nurses to make sure we're providing the best possible patient care. Cost control has been good as well. That's certainly important so that we can invest our money properly and make sure that we don't have waste in the system. And the net of it is that the bottom line has been good. It's nice to see PAT positive, but most importantly, I think what you can look forward to, what I can look forward to, is that as we work towards the next quarters, is continued growth, continued improvement, and the bottom line getting better and better. And again, good, solid quarter from our perspective.
Right. Geography-wise, the India business is doing well, and your focus has been on reduction of the focus overseas. So what all is left overseas currently, post that plan that you've pursued, and what's the outlook?
We're an India-centric business. The only thing we're doing overseas right now is we have an O&M that we operate in Mauritius. As you're probably aware, we expanded. Starting in 2011-12, we expanded overseas, but we've shut down just about everything that's outside of India. So our focus is India. The international business, as I said, is through one O&M. We may have a couple of other O&Ms coming up, but we don't have any investment overseas per se. And so it's the India business we're focusing on. That continues to do very well.
All right. What's your outlook in terms of the hospital business for FY17 and the average revenue per occupied bed? That was quite flat this quarter. Take us through that as well, and what's the outlook there?
No, the occupancy numbers are fantastic. We're very encouraged to be at 74-75%. And quite honestly, we see that number getting stronger and stronger. And the initial few numbers coming out of Q2 indicate that as well, that our occupancy numbers are getting better. We're actually adding beds because in some hospitals we need to do that. And so we're encouraged by it. That's good, solid growth. To go from the high 60s to the mid 70s is very, very promising. And I see those numbers inching up as we go forward. And we will continue to add beds as well. And I think that bodes well for the business because we need to continue to stay ahead of this number. We certainly don't want to wait till we're 85% add beds. So I think that's a good direction for the organization. I think in terms of revenue per occupied bed, quite honestly, that's a function of mix. But if you look at the trajectory in revenue per occupied bed, if you look at it over the last 5-6 quarters, continues to grow. Among the strongest in the industry. It's the mix in the mix of business, the mix of medical procedures that drives that. And we are doing quite a bit in the space of transplants. We operate the #1 heart transplant center in India and one of the top transplant centers in Asia. We're doing almost 200 liver transplants, renal kidney transplants. We're doing quite a bit as well. So the more complex the procedures, the more from a revenue per occupied continues to go up as well. But you have a mix. You have a mix, and you want to take care of all the patients who have any ailments. But I think, again, best in class in the industry, steady growth going forward, occupancy numbers very strong, and I think they'll just continue to get stronger and stronger.
What's the current bed count at, and what is the addition in terms of numbers or percentage, if you can share with us, for FY17?
So we operate today about slightly over 4,000 beds. We've said that, at this stage we don't plan on investing in any new hospitals. What we are doing is looking at organic growth by adding beds. So we are adding beds in 7-8 hospitals as we speak right now. So I think we've said that we expect our bed count to continue to grow by 5-10% every year. And I don't think this year will be any different. We're adding beds in Escorts, which is a hospital in Okla. We're adding beds in Gurgaon, which is FMRI, which is one of our top hospitals. We've added beds in Vasant Kunj. We're adding beds in Mulund. We're adding beds in Banagatta Road. So across the board, as appropriate, we continue to add beds. In a couple of these hospitals, we've invested in large oncology programs. So in Banagatta Road in Bangalore and in Shalimar Bagh, which is in Delhi, we're adding full oncology blocks, and that's going to be certainly adding beds as well. In Noida, we're building India's first liver transplant center. India does not have one. We will be up and running in the next 6-7 months. So as we add these programs, we'll continue to add beds because we certainly need to have the beds to support that. But I think the growth numbers we've talked about from a bed perspective will continue to be as I've said. So again, low 4,000s, I think we'll add anywhere 5-10%. And again, bodes well because every time you add a bed, it's 1.3, 1.4 crore in revenue that comes in.
Mr. Singh, you're also looking to demerge the SRL diagnostics business. Can you give us an update in terms of the timeline of the same, and when do you expect the SRL listing as well, or are there chances that you look at selling that unit?
You might recall last quarter we had announced that we announced the intention to explore options to unlock value when it came to SRL, and I think that the recommendation that's been made to the board, and that's where we have the in-principle approval, is to go down the path of a demerger. What we've said is that there's a committee that's been set up, exploration committee, that's actually going to do some of the detail around this, whether it's in terms of the mechanics, and the valuation is a significant component there, the timeline. So they're going to be coming back on the 19th. That committee will be presenting the board on the 19th in terms of next steps as we go forward. It's good news. It's good news for both brands. It's an opportunity to unlock value, puts both companies on solid platforms, and we all have a responsibility to shareholders, and I think it's a great outcome for shareholders in terms of unlocking value. So I think we'll know a lot more on the 19th, but certainly a good step forward.
Fair point, Mr. Singh. We'll leave it at that, but appreciate you joining us as always with a detailed breakdown of your earnings numbers, as also the demerger of the SRL diagnostics business and the outlook for the overall business, and the addition and expansion plans going ahead. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Trending Today. Thank you so much for watching.